Moving on to my next question.
Not try to eat the basket.
Yeah, I had to get a picture of my dog Poe turned into a puzzle.
What was your upbringing like?
What kind of
Upbringing was a little rough. I grew up in kind of in the middle of nowhere down in Texas. Like
it's very difficult to get a good photo where you're not.
we lived miles outside of town. I would ride my bike into town. Reading was an escape. Didn't have much, so it was, living out in the middle of the country. You had to find ways to entertain yourself. So I would disappear into the woods for hours. I would go roaming through random fields. I would read. I would let my imagination, and that's where I think a lot of now people have issues, is they don't have that creative, that imagination, because everything's in their hands. They have, you can walk down the street and you have a device with all the information in the world in your hand. You're always connected, but back when I grew up, if you missed a phone call, if you didn't have an answering machine, you didn't know somebody's trying to get hold of you. So you had to find ways. There weren't game systems and everything. It was, we had our bicycles, we had the fields, we had a few people. My nearest neighbor was like a mile away. So you had to create, you had to use your imagination to come up with scenarios. That's not just a stick. That stick is now a sword, or that stick is a rifle. And you'd go on adventures with your friends and your family.
Yeah.
When you don't have much, like now, you got, even the game systems now, you're looking at $500, $600, $700. But you can play the same games on your phone, which your phones are, $1,200, $1,400, $1,800. And I always preferred like hard copy books because I don't have to worry about the battery dying on it. I remember when the power would go out because of the storms. It didn't worry about the TV. I could go grab a book off the shelf. I could light a candle and sit in the dark and just read my book, or play it, like read my books until the battery on the flashlight died. And
every book has several.
that's just, it was a simpler time, and I had to work for anything that I wanted extra. It was, I had to cut grass for the neighbors. I worked a guy's farm checking his fence lines here and there. And that's how I made money growing up, is doing odd jobs for people just so that I could earn enough to go, get a new pair of shoes, get a new book. I think it was, I would ride about 15 miles in town on my bike just to go to the library. So if I wanted something different to read, so
Understandable.
you do what you have to.
That you do. That you do. Want to move on to the next question.
Go right ahead.
You mentioned you've read a lot of books. You're constantly doing research for your stories. What is your favorite story? Your favorite novel?
There's a book by Richard Kadrey called The Butcher Bird. It's about a guy who was blind to everything, kind of lived by his own rules, and then his eyes got opened and started seeing the world around him not as he used to see it, but all the hidden things. and the stepping up instead of stepping out. That kind of, it drew me in just because of how blind a lot of people are to, they're either in their own little world or don't want to see what is there. They don't want, they're blocked off from everything. But when you finally start seeing and realizing, you can get more of the bigger picture. You don't have the blinders on. And that's one of my favorites. Like,
And it's called The Butcher Bird?
yes. And like, I loved Douglas Adams growing up. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Those were, it was just a guy living his life that things just happened to. And I think that's where a lot of the craze on like Dungeon Crawler Carl is coming from. It's just the average guy that gets dragged into the worst situations, and people can relate to it. But like, I grew up with a lot of the classics, a lot of like the Mary Shelleys, Frankensteins, the Nosferatus, the Bram Stokers, and the Stephen King novels, and but I also read, like, my brother is also a big reader, and he was one of those that would like read War and Peace in the weekend, and it's that change of reality, the escape from what you're currently dealing with. And that's just, I look at a book as an escape. It's not the world that I'm in now. It's something different. That's why I liked a lot of Richard Kadri's books, was just that change of reality. And that's what drew me in on his. He's got a couple series that I've enjoyed, but like, my wall of books at the house is ridiculous, and because I don't like to donate them once I'm done reading them, because I will go back and reread them 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and I'll pick up something new out of each time I read it. I think I've read Butcher Bird 10 or 12 times, and I get something new out of it every time I do, just because of the storytelling lets you imagine it. That's why I prefer books over movies, because I can visualize how I see them, how I feel they are, instead of, if I read a book and then I watch the movie, I'm usually disappointed. Because I'll sit there and go, well, that's wrong. They skipped this whole part.
That's valid. That's valid. Want to move on to the next question?
Yeah.
That's cool. What was publishing like for you? Did you self-publish, or is it a safer route to get a publisher?
I self-published mainly out of cost. I was doing it on my own. Originally, I wasn't going to publish at all, and then I had several people telling me to do it, but getting a publisher was, at the time, pricier than I could afford. I had people that were helping me edit. I had people that were reading it for me as I would write. But some of the publishing houses, like they were rejected because they were looking for a different thing at that point in time. And it's like, well, I guess I'll just do it myself. And when I first started doing it, it was through Create Space, which they got bought by KDP. So it was, I'll just put it out. If I sell, I sell. If I don't, I don't. But I don't have the time to be a full-time author, so I write when I can. And some of the ones that some of the people I've dealt with author-wise, a lot of them will give you they're on a deadline. I'm on my own deadline, so I do it when I can, and I don't have to force it. Because I've seen where if you turn a passion into a career, you can end up hating that passion. And I don't want to hate reading and writing.
That's completely valid as well. You don't want to see yourself become a villain in that sense.
Yes.
By just appealing to what people want.
Yeah.
You're doing what you want.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And I don't want somebody else telling me that I need to change an arc in my story, or I need to do this or add this because this is the going trend. I just want to write what I want to write.
Yeah, you don't want somebody breathing down your neck in that
No.
regard. That's totally understandable.
That night, I control it myself. So if I release it, I release it. If I don't, I don't. And the only person that it's going to affect is me. So I don't have 30 bosses over my head telling me that I need to. Oh, my terminology is too confusing to some people, or it's. Every language has its own thing. So when you're putting a slang term in a book, an editor's going to pick it up and be like, oh, well, you should use it. No, that's not how he was feeling at that point in time. I mean, when you smash your thumb with a hammer, when you're building something, you're not thinking of the grammatical terminology to use. You're just going to yell out the first thing that comes to your head. So, and I'd rather it be more natural and fluid than being told what to do. I've had enough bosses in my life. I can control this myself.
For sure. You're successful and independent author nonetheless. That's an achievement.
And over the last couple of years since I've been doing it and selling, I've sold a couple thousand copies of each one. The hardest part is getting people actually review it once it's out there. So.
Well, consider me one of your reviewers one of these days. I have a long list to read and catch up on. I would like to move on to my final question.
Go right ahead.
This is the question that impacts me the most when I was writing it, just kind of thinking about it. What advice would you give to young aspiring writers?
Create. Do. Take that chance. Because you're always going to have critics. And speaking from experience, you are your worst critic. There's nothing anybody's going to tell you that you're not going to tell yourself. You have to take the chance. You have to live. You have to experience.
Must take risks.
Yes. Do, and the worst they can do is, when I'm doing this, is not pick it up, not buy it. That's the worst they could do. Because I wrote a book. Did they? So there's always going to be people that are going to try to put you down or steer you away. take those risks, say those things, talk to the. I mean, you didn't know me a little while ago, and yet you walked up, you took that risk, you asked. The worst I could have said was no, but you took the chance.
Just like 2 years.
So,
Writing.
always got to take your chance. Always got to do.
Take a chance, shoot your shot.
Yep.
The imagination was